I'm back with another 100%, and what an absolute pleasure it was to play this game. From its breathtaking visuals and relaxing playstyle to the masterclass of a soundtrack by Game Ferran. This 2023 release from developer Don't Nod of the Life is Strange series grips your emotions and intrigue as tightly as you'll be gripping your rope and rock faces. It's no wonder it was well received all round, including overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. It certainly firmly planted itself in my top indie games of all time, with its soundtrack frequenting my Spotify favourites. This game is a recommendation to me, and it wasn't a game I'd heard of, but it was an absolute pleasure to play it. With a casual 21 achievements, 0 missable achievements, and a time to complete of about 8 to 10 hours, I was free to enjoy the captivating storyline with the security of a chapter select and multiple collectibles afterwards. It took me about 8 hours 23 minutes to complete it, but I enjoyed every single second. Without further ado, introducing Jusant, or as I mispronounced it, Jusant. Let's get into it. So we started off strong with chat's first suggestion for us. Jump off to see if I could. It just so happens I couldn't, so if you're scared of heights, you don't need to worry too much. However, one of the genuine questions that I had was, is it just me that in games when you jump off something and you're falling for ages, I get actual physical butterflies in real life? Just me? No? Anyway, the game starts giving you a guide on the controls. They feel amazing. With each trigger being used for each arm and the thumbsticks for searching around for the next handhold, you can also place pitons, which I managed to mispronounce. Piton?
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled
Piton.
And also use left stick to rest and get your stamina back, which is super important, otherwise this happens. It's also linked to an achievement. There are other controls, jumping for example, but the game will take you through them. Now as I progressed through, I did come across my first collectible in the form of a letter, and these are what pieced together the story in the game. This also got me my first achievement, First Contact. Chivo! This is for reading a letter. The game has no spoken word, and to be honest, the letters and diary entries are an interesting read, so for the sake of the game, don't skip them. Another collectible I came across was this seashell thing. This gives you an audible view into the past civilization that was once here. And it also gives you Chivos. An ear to the past was given for listening to this shell, your first one. There we go, listen to a shell. A little bit further on, I was swinging from my rope and I placed my piton in the wall. Unlocked my third achievement for this, which was Angel's Carabiner. Place a piton at the top of a wall run. Nice and easy, 30 Gs. Now the next bit had us a bit puzzled, as the character displayed an impressive climbing feat that could have saved some time. Or surely not. If you can do that, why all this climbing? Why did he just start yarking his web up the cliff? Not sure why I called it a web. I know it's a rope. Anyway, I got over it and kept exploring. Coming across the next collectible, that's a cairn. Detective bait strikes again, and I couldn't resist trying to topple it with my own pebble. But as it happens, I couldn't, and I've got a Chivo instead. First stone, complete a cairn for the 4th achievement. Now this game has some truly beautiful locations, as you can see. This is one of them. As I progressed in absolute awe through this area, I stumbled on this little fella who quickly, yet slowly, scurried away from us into his little hidey hole. As it happens, this was the next achievement. Between him and his little pal on the right hand side here, I chased them away until they hid in their little burrows. I did have to repeat this 10 times. Insert time lapse here. This got me my 5th achievement. Bogey Choco. Bogey Choco, who knows. Scare 10 Chocos into their burrow. From here, I ended chapter 1, an unbelievable cinematic, which I'll cut as to not spoil it, but it was visually and audibly amazing. I travelled down this massive zip line, then our little backpack pal came out. Gave him a hug, with left on the D-pad, and that unlocked achievement number 6, Adventure Buddies, for hugging your ballast. A little bit further on, I did find a lovely painting on the wall. Using the ballast's echo, which is up on the D-pad, I activated it. Unlocking achievement number 7, Echoes from the Past, for activating your first fresco. What I didn't know at the time was you can enter the pause menu, go into the gallery, and each fresco's got a poem attached to it, which is a cool touch, but it doesn't get explained, but it's worth checking out. The last type of collectible to get was these big spinny things here, which the game refers to as altars. And back in motion, achievement 8 is for turning your first one. As I mentioned before, you can use L stick to rest and regain stamina. I also mentioned it's linked to an achievement. Fresh Air was my next achievement, and I got this for restoring your stamina more than 50 times when climbing. It should come naturally. Achievement 9, Restored Connection, was a little bit grindy, but it was hardly a chore. and that's for hugging your ballast 20 times. This cute little buddy deserves it anyway. I ended up just sanding it and doing it to get it done. Some of these collectibles can be quite difficult to find, so make sure you look everywhere. This next clip is a prime example. Ah, sneaky, sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky. There's also this super useful skill. Good. I mean, it's an important skill to have as a climber, that, isn't it? So we got to stand on the thin air. Moving on, the next Chivo came naturally. This was for completing more than 200 jumps or double jumps whilst climbing. Aptly named Acrobat for 30 Gs. And next up, some wonderful poetry by Bait, audiobook coming soon. Up in the clouds I went astray, from ravine to frozen passive grey. The clouds watch me as I make my way. Will I find my true love again one day? Will I find my true love again one day? That was a free sample. Here's some more beautiful scenery before we press on. Coming up, Chivo 12, A Faint Glimmer. This one comes in chapter 6 in the creator, and it's by giving your ballast a hug whilst you're in this area. Achievement 13 follows pretty quickly after. Using the echo near a down ballast, this will get you awakened memory, and that's for 30 gamer scores. Gamer scores? From here, I near at the end of the game. I've cut the final climb in cinematic, as I highly suggest that you go and play it, but the cinematic will be on another video with a compilation. Once finished, this will unlock Water Piper for a massive 100 Gs for completing the game. Now it was time to go back, find all the collectibles and mop up any miscellaneous achievements that I'd missed. At this point I had 7 to go. Thankfully from the main menu you can chapter select, and as you can see on the screen, each chapter shows you which collectibles you have and haven't collected, plus the menus are in order so that you can see which letters you are missing if you're using a guide. Back to it, the next achievement I went for was Collective Climb. This is for stopping 25 pedals at once for using the ballast's echo. As you can see, it did take us a few attempts, but I found this location in Solstice was great for it, and eventually I did get it. The remaining 6 achievements were all for getting all of each collectible. And starting at the altars, that's what I did. Here I unlocked Cycle Celebration for a huge 90 Gs, and this was achievement 16, turning all altars. The next 5 achievements I absolutely rattled through. Here, Sound Archaeologists was achievement 17, and that was for listening to all of the shells. In the same room, it just so happened, was achievement 18. This was Final Ascent. This was for reading all of Bianca's journal entries. I haven't spoken about this, but these entries are the core story driver and are super important to read through if you want to get a good understanding.
Let's go.
Yet again, in the same room, I managed to find the last cairn, balanced my pebble for the final time, unlocking Common Ground, achievement number 19. Searching high and low, I came across my final letter. I think this might be the final letter. After a thorough read through, I unlocked the appropriately named Avid Reader. That was achievement 20, our penultimate achievement for this game. Now all that remained was the frescoes. Thankfully throughout the first playthrough I found about 90% of them, as they're not particularly well hidden, but well enough that I didn't get them all. Here's the moment that I found it. Pretty sure this is the way we're meant to be going. Oh, what an absolute wondrous, wondrous game this has been. That is us. 100. Done. So here's my overall thoughts. I absolutely love this game. From a completionist point of view, with 21 achievements, 1000 gamer score, and taking me about 8 hours to complete with a couple of chapter selects after the main game was over, I'm giving this an easy mark. Easy 1000 Gs if you want to go and grab it. Gameplay wise, absolutely fantastic. The intuitiveness of the controls feels smooth, it's immersive, nothing feels janky about it. Storyline, I've given this an okay, with there being no dialogue, which is just something I prefer, and again this is is completely my opinion. Piecing together the storyline through the letters, the journal entries, the frescoes, and other elements within the game can be a bit difficult to find out what's going on, but ultimately, overall, it's a nice emotional story. This, however, doesn't detract from the gameplay in any way, shape, or form. I've still given it an okay. I'm not marking it down in this regard. I just think it's something that could be improved upon for those that aren't fans of scrolling and reading through big tomes and texts. Visuals wise, I've given this a great. There are some beautiful landscapes, beautiful surroundings whilst you're climbing up and down the tower, as well as the cinematics being awe-inspiring. Moving on to the soundtrack, this is exceptional. From Game Faran, the tracks within this have been in my Spotify playlist every day since completing the game, and that's not even me exaggerating. I highly recommend going to check this out, even if you don't pick the game up. It can certainly be found on Spotify and YouTube. Just go and do it. Search Jusant and you'll find it. Performance wise, I've given this a good. I didn't have any issues with the game. There's a couple of janky elements where occasionally you'll clip into rocks and you'll find you need to jump because you'll be stuck. However, other than that, I had no real issues, so I'll give that a good. Value for money wise, this is currently retailing around £20, I believe, across most platforms, including Steam. It is, however, free on Game Pass if you do have that, so I'd certainly say pick it up if you've got Game Pass. If not, would I buy it for £16? To be honest, yes, I probably would. Whilst there's not a huge amount of replayability, it's certainly a game I feel like I might pick up further down the line when I just want to do a bit of relaxing. So overall, again, this is my opinion. It probably means nothing to you at all, but do I recommend it? Absolutely. As always, thanks for watching. Drop a comment below if you've played this game, if you enjoyed it, or any thoughts that you've got of the video, any feedback. It's always welcomed. The next video we'll be doing is for Firewatch, which was another chat recommendation and another game I'd highly recommend. See you next time.